Trump sees Greenland the way 19th century presidents saw Alaska. Back then, critics called Alaska a frozen wasteland. Today, it is a gold mine of oil, gas, and military bases. Greenland is bigger than Alaska. It is richer in minerals, and it sits in a more powerful strategic location. Trump believes history will judge him as the man who secured America's Arctic future. In Trump's worldview, Denmark is not a sovereign equal. It is a small state sitting on top of a prize it cannot defend. To Trump, that makes Greenland mismanaged. And in American imperial logic, mismanaged land is an invitation.
Donald Trump has criticized the Danish government for not doing more of this itself on its own. So, and it comes back to this radar coverage concerning Russian planes over Greenland, and then it concerns submarine hunting, keeping track of Russian submarines in Greenlandic waters and in the so-called GEOC gap, the Greenland, Iceland, UK gap. Those two tasks are very expensive to solve. It necessitates a lot of investments. And I think actually the initial sort of Danish reaction to this criticism from Donald Trump was to say, okay, the US wants Denmark to do more. Well, at least that's something, that's a concrete problem that Denmark could try to solve, right? So in 2025 alone, Denmark set aside 42 billion Danish crowns for enhanced security in Greenland. And a lot of that money was meant to be earmarked for situational awareness, which is these two things that I mentioned.
Trump has never been a big fan of NATO. He sees it as a club where America pays and others benefit. Greenland being part of NATO does not protect it in his eyes. It makes it vulnerable. Because once Trump frames Denmark as weak or obstructive, he can argue that NATO itself is failing to protect Arctic security. Moscow understands exactly what Trump is doing. Russia has militarized its Arctic coast with new bases, icebreakers, missile systems, and submarine ports. Putin believes the Arctic is Russia's future economic and military frontier. If America takes Greenland, Russia will respond by hardening its Arctic posture. That raises the risk of Arctic confrontation. China calls itself a near-Arctic state. It has invested in Greenlandic airports, mines, and infrastructure. Beijing does not need soldiers, it needs contracts. Trump's annexation push is designed to block China out completely. Greenland is not about now, it is about the next 50 years. Whoever controls Greenland controls the Arctic. Whoever controls the Arctic controls the new trade routes, the mineral supply, and missile shield of the future. If the United States annexes Greenland, it shatters the post-World War II rule against territorial conquest. Russia will point to it in Ukraine. China will point to it in Taiwan. The world will become a place where borders are decided by power again. People of Greenland risk becoming invisible. Their culture, language, and land rights are not part of Trump's calculation. In his mind, territory comes first. People come later.
I think we have to keep facts in mind here. Of course, you have US and with the new national security strategy, they are really increasing the pressure to secure that their interests are being taken care of. And obviously, the Arctic, Greenland, and so forth has come really in the middle of that discussion. As you will know, as we speak, there is a meeting between the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and the Danish Foreign Minister and the Greenlandic Foreign Minister. And hopefully they will be able to sort out what constitutes facts here or what are kind of sentiments, emotions rising high in a very tense discussion. So, of course, if you cut all that down to the bottom line, what stands out is, of course, that U.S. and U.S. President has stated very clearly that they want Greenland one way or another. And that goes, of course, against all the red lines that you could imagine. Greenland is part of the Kingdom of Denmark, and we are Greenland, Denmark, and so forth. We are a member of NATO. And U.S. is also a member of NATO, not to say the leading part of NATO. So it's a big discussion within a family. I think we should not be taken by all the sentiments and statements. We have to look into how to settle that in a dialogue. It might be tense dialogue, but it's also important really to know each other and have this frank discussion, which will happen behind closed doors. But obviously, if someone, even your grandfather, wants to take away something, your house or whatever, it constitutes a real problem. And in real time and in geopolitical terms, this is something unprecedented.
The promise of US statehood sounds generous, but it would drown Greenlanders in American politics, American laws, and American corporate power. They would become a tiny voice inside a giant empire. As ice melts, Greenland becomes more valuable every year. Trump does not see climate change as a crisis. He sees it as an opportunity. Once Trump commits to a territorial goal, he does not retreat. He escalates. Greenland is now tied to his legacy. Europe is nervous. Canada is uneasy. Russia alert. China calculating.